Hello. Hi there, people. How are you doing, everybody? Hi. Hello. How are you? Hello, everybody in the chat. Hello there. Hello, who is everybody who is watching as well. Hello there, Bent and Eva Carolina, Michelle, Team, GNM. I just sorry, I'm having here I'm here with Bongo. She just came and decided to sit on my lap. So anyway, I know you are very excited. I'm very excited too to share with you what's going on. I'm gonna take Bongo away now any second. Let's just say hello to some more people and Cindy, Narkut, Svapni, No Hide, Dutch Fly, Jose, Andy, and everybody who is here at this time. I know if you are watching from the US side of the world, it's a bit early, I think, for you. So perhaps some of you are watching this later. Hello to you as well who are watching this at a later time, as at the replay. I'm doing this live here in English, and then at 4, which is my time for in 2 hours, I'm gonna do this in Spanish as well. Yes, let's just gather some more people, and then I will put Bongo away, and I will tell you what's going on and what happened, because I know this is very, very, very exciting. Um, Just a few days ago, I was making a live. I think it was Saturday, it was Sunday, I think. Oh, she's laying down now. I was making a live when I was saying that I'm a bit sad that we are not talking to our friends, and here we are. But I will mention something about that as well. Okay, Bongish, I think it's time for you to move to your location. Okay, good. All right. So let's get to it. Um, let's get right to it. Okay, so as the title indicates, Yaski is back in communication. We just talked to Yaski for now, but they are all okay. She's okay, and everybody is okay. As I said before, as was my suspicion, and as I felt, they never left. They never left the orbit. They are still there. They never went home. They never went to Tegeta. So there's no need for you to be saying, welcome back to the orbit or welcome back to Earth, because, I never said they left. I always had this feeling that that something happened that prevented them from having this communication. But I know them, and they're not the kind of a bunch of people who would just leave just like that. They are very, very, very involved. So okay, so Yaski came on the line. Let me just divide the screen very fast. 1 second. Um, okay, so because I have my notes, of course. So Yaski came online a few days ago. It was actually in nighttime for me. I was online. I was online doing my things. I was just about to actually take Bongo for the last bathroom walk. And there is a message, and the message pops up, and the message from Yaski, and it says, "Are you busy?" And I'm like, "What?" I gave that expression, like, "What?" with the emoticon, and she said, "Are you busy? Or I can come some other time." And this is so Yaski. This is such a Yaski expression, a Yaski note. She would always say something like that. "Are you busy? Or can I? Maybe I can come another time." Yeah, right. After 5 months of absence of communication, I'm gonna now go to do something else, and have her wait. She's just, yeah, Cindy. She's so precious. She has these expressions, and emoticons, her favorite emoticons she uses, or her favorite expressions. It's just, right away it's her. You know how she speaks and how she talks and how she expresses herself. Like no one else would say that. Are you busy or can I come to some other time? With her favorite emoticon by the side, on the side. So I just knew it was her right away, of course. But of course I had to confirm. But like I said, someone is asking there, like, how do you know it's her? Now we have certain codes established, but the thing is that we have established such a easy way of recognizing each other, like I said, by the favorite expressions, favorite ways of speaking, and just energy behind the person. You just know. And and another thing she said right away, and that's also so Yaski, date, time, who's the president? Like she just wanted to, but that was a joke. But I took it seriously because some time ago she also went away somewhere traveling through timelines, and then she came back after a few days, and that's what she said. What date is it? What time is it? Who is the president? But that's maybe a joke. But yeah, what time and what date? So I was responding to her, what date and time we have, who is the president? I'm like, of what country? But she says no. I'm sure she was just joking with that. But that's also her kind of humor. Date, time, and who is the president? Um, she said she feels a bit older, a bit wiser, perhaps. Like she doesn't really age in the same way, and she can be like looking 9 for a very long time. But she said that she does feel like she grew older a little bit, and she hopes that she's also wiser. Um, she said that, like I said, the Tigatons never left. There was nothing strange going on, no time slips, no timeline traveling, no time traveling. And as she said, no other hush hush things. I said to Yaski, oh, how did I feel when she first came online? Well, it happens all the time. If they go away for a long time and then they come back, it's this rush of excitement and nervousness at the same time because you don't know what they're going to say and what happened, and almost like my legs were shaking. Like I was just like, my heart stopped. I was super happy and excited but nervous at the same time because I don't know what happened. So uh, I told Yaski that I was very worried about them. And she said, well, she was too, of course, but she said she had no way of passing a message to us. She had no way of passing a message to us directly. This is going to be especially important for a Spanish channel because there are these people who claim they have been receiving information and channeling information for us. And Yaski said that's not true. That absolutely nothing that happened, and people just inventing things, and we should just be ignoring all that. And that's why we did. That's why we did ignore that because we were like trained by them to ignore all these types of situations. Now everybody will be asking, why did they disappear? Why did the communication stop? By the way, if you see me a little calm now, it's because we had time to adjust to this news. This was like a few days ago, but of course we didn't come right away in the first moment to tell you because we have things to talk about and organize ourselves and like settle things down a little bit, and then we go on to the public aspect of things. And the reason why the reason actually is very simple. The reason is quite simple, and I knew it had something to do with that, but of course I was thinking million things that could have been happening. I'm going to read this just so I can get the words straight. It's also it's because the federation kicked in with stronger enforced no contact rules for everyone, as humanity is going through a tribulation. Humanity is going through a difficult time, and there is some sort of a quarantine around Earth with regards to direct contact. So we couldn't be in contact because suddenly it happened very, 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 very suddenly. And as I always say, a lot of things happen there all the time, and we have to be prepared for sudden turn of events and sudden development of events. So they said we were not in contact because this happened suddenly, and we had to help with new protocols of the Federation put in place before the circumstances of the Earth. With regards to the circumstances of the Earth, and we were very busy with all that as well. But basically, there was no communication. There was a general blackout for everybody, which, by the way, is continues to be in place. continues to be in place. Yaski is Yaski. She's incontrollable. She has her ways. So that's why she's in contact. And we are talking to Yaski at this point. But basically that was the reason, and they couldn't tell us anything because it happened very fast. It happened very suddenly, and we are always prepared for this. It's we are okay with those sudden changes. um like I always say, they are up there, and there's just so much going on. The extraterrestrial reality out there is so busy, and there's just so much. So they, because there was this general internet blackout, which continues, by the way. They were forced to, well, forced. They were focused more on their old ways of helping and influencing behind the scenes, as they have always been doing before as well. um, Behind the scenes, with no one knowing who did what where. A lot of things a lot of things they are doing, they are helping, but those things are not going to be attributed to the non-humans. So that's what they were focused on all this time. Remember that we had the first conversation with her a few days ago, so we didn't talk with her hours and hours and hours yet. We'll continue to be talking, so I don't have all the details and specifics about what's going on out there in space, or what about this, what about that. I'm just sharing with you what we talked about so far. um so everybody's fine. Everybody's fine on the ship. Like I said, they are still here. They never left. Everybody's fine. But now we are talking to Yaski. Athena supposedly is under this pressure. Are you there? Okay, because I don't see the chat moving. Maybe something disappeared. Okay, I think it's okay. Maybe I will look at your questions a bit later. So Athena is under this pressure from the Federation to be the only adult Svarunian. So that, and Minerva Svaruu is actually busy attending a college, so to speak. And that means, you are learning about different professions and different things. So it's like her school time. And she's also learning about different spaceship designs. And someone might ask, what about the memory? Because at the 13, the memory kicks in and you remember things. Yeah, you remember things, but in your past, from the past incarnation. But in that past incarnation, you didn't know everything either. And in the past incarnation, you didn't know anything either. The learning never stops. You're always expanding and learning. Lorena, school in the fifth density, but it's not school. It's not school. You are just like, it's not like you go to school. You're just learning from other people on the ships who are experts, for example, doctors or whatever. You're spending time with them. Perhaps you are learning some simulation. Maybe you will go into immersion simulations. I don't know. This is my idea now. And, there are different ways of learning. The Athena's mother, Svaruu of Erra, but not ours. That's for people who follow this story. She's back in Erra, so she's not on the ship right now. I will go into a little bit more serious issues in a moment, but for now, on a lighter note, the cats have reproduced somehow, and they have like 22 cats on board. They had 7 before, but it's a big topic for them, actually. It sounds like maybe not important for us, but actually this is a big part of their life. It's actually quite stressful, Yaski said, because it's not just like 22 cats and that's all, but according to her, they all have their own like cat-like politics between one another, and fights and conflicts between themselves. And all these conflicts and internal cat politics end up affecting actually a mental state of the whole crew, of the whole non-feline crew. So sometimes it's a bit stressful because there's so many of them there, and that's that. Anyway, so that's like on a lighter note, because we were talking about different things with Yaski, and this was an important update as well for her. Hello, Olia. She's the first time catching the live. Great. Well, because this is actually the first time I'm doing live at this time. Anyway, so someone might ask, why did she connect now? Like, why now and not before and not 1 month later? I asked this question, and she said that she felt the need for about like 2 weeks. She felt something like a strong desire that she needed to that she needed to come and she needed to connect. Now, I am wondering if this has to do. I asked her, does this have to do with like with my last lives that I did when I was, in Spanish and English? I was saying that I was sad, and maybe maybe she felt. I don't want, like I said in that live, I don't want to say that I'm too sad because I don't want that pressure on them. You see, I don't want them to feel like, oh, Gosia is sad, or Robert is sad. We need to come back, like to, we feel bad. I don't want that pressure for them. I hope she didn't come back for that, because I don't want that. Yeah, I want them to come back, or I want Yaski to be back when she wants to be. It's not for me, not for me. Um, and she said no, that it was just a coincidence that she saw that live that I did, but it wasn't the reason. She actually felt that need to come back for about 2 weeks. I'm also thinking maybe somehow it has to do, also one of the reasons, um, with the veganism subject, because she did mention that she's available to answer questions about that subject, because that video, she said, that information probably was not complete, and it wasn't. And I'll mention something about this as well. So perhaps she saw that this video is coming up, and she felt the need to be closer to answer any questions, because she knew it was going to be a controversial subject, and a lot of people will be asking questions and will be in doubt or confused. So I wonder if that also was a factor here. But she did mention she's available for the questions, and that's why I actually made that community post where I was asking you to pass questions. That was because we already talked to Yaski. That was the reason why. Now, Kartnik Kishore, are you going to be in a daily contact or sometime later? Well, Yaski expressed that she would prefer not to be in a daily contact. And actually, I think it's a little bit better for me as well, because before we were in a daily contact, it was very heavy on for both sides. There was a lot of information being passed and a lot of things, a lot of hours online, and it's very draining actually for both of us, especially for them who are not used to computers. So in order to take it easier, this time, she said she will come in a little less than daily, here and there. And she's also available to talk about topics. Maybe not as much as before, like I said, in order not, she gets trained very fast. She's like very light energy, and in order to stay connected to Earth, to the physicality, it's like an effort for her. She explained that in one of the videos. So she needs to, in order to be rooted in her body, it's like an effort. And especially when she has to type and think words in another language. Funny, she said in the first sentence, she said also, oh, I think my English is a bit rusty. I haven't used it for a long time, all these months. So that's why she's going to come in a bit less frequently, but she's going to give some topics. She's excited about that. I'm going to tell you a little bit later about some topics she already mentioned. She's definitely interested in exposing other Kabbalah's agendas and how it all connects, how all these, because in the vegan video, it was said that humans see all these different agendas as something separate. They don't connect the dots, but she's like really connecting all this, and she wants to talk about all these different agendas. That's what she's interested in. And okay, so now before, before I continue, and I'll tell you something about the Federation. Insects were mentioned. Alcione. Before that, I just want to go back for a moment to the vegan video. First of all, I want to apologize for you, to you, because I want to apologize for actually making this video available so late. And I know some people expressed, that this was a mistake on our part because a lot of people started a vegetarian diet based on what Swaruu said before, and then we waited that long, and perhaps their health deteriorated throughout all this time. Yes, I know, and I'm sorry that we published it so late, but the reasons were explained in the introduction to my vegan video that. First of all, we never established with them what to say, and it was not complete. This is something important. Many people say, "Oh, this data is confusing because this is something that's not true, or that is not deepened enough," because that's exactly how it was. What I shared with you is a bunch of random mixed of conversations that we had with them throughout many months, almost a year or so, from 2019 to 2020. And it was never like an expose on a subject. It was never given to us like from the first word to the last complete essay on the subject. Everything that could be said was said. First of all, the area is so huge and there are so many angles here to address. So of course, there might have been sentences that were not maybe approached from other angles that would have completed that concept, because like I said, it was never given as a complete topic. It was just a mix of random conversations, private conversations, and that's why we never published it, because I felt it was not like explained from all possible sides with all possible data. We were like waiting to develop the subject, and it was like being postponed and postponed. We didn't want to give it halfway. We didn't want to give just parts. But now that they were gone, and we didn't know if they are going to be back. I was kind of sure that they're going to be back, but you never know, or when they will be back. So Robert and me decided to share what we have, because we decided, okay, it's better to share what we have than nothing on this subject. But uh, but of course, it's not totally complete on all these different concepts. Little, sentences here and there. It was never given that way. So don't look at this video as a complete study of the subject. In fact, Yaski said that it fell short, probably, the information. And there's new updates, actually, the new, fresher information. And she's even ready to give an annex to that video. So let's see if we can get to it. But I do apologize for lasting that long, and apologize to all these people that perhaps started to feel bad health wise with their vegetarian or vegan diets after listening to that Svaru's video when she said do not eat meat. And that's all I can say. I mean, we are not perfect. We try to share the best way possible whenever, whatever. We have just so many conversations that are like thousands and thousands of pages, and sometimes it's difficult to decide, what to share, when, what, how. We have to glue it together. Sometimes, like I said, the conversations are not just in this one part of, but they are like throughout the years. The same thread is talked about. So anyway, we do the best we can, but we are not perfect, and perhaps if you had this contact, you would have done things in a different way. Everybody probably would have done things in this whole experience in their own unique way. So that's all I can say. Yes, Charlie Kennedy. Charlie Kennedy says, I have thousands of pages. You mean of the transcripts? Well, imagine that you have thousands of pages of transcripts, for example, if that's what you mean. But on top of that, we have all these conversations around it. They were like most that take the most. Anyway, I'm not sure I'm expressing myself here properly. Anyway, so coming back to Yaski now. Okay, I'm distracted by the comments. Okay, coming back to Yaski now. So she does want to talk about agenda, actually, different agendas. Robert, for example, asked her about insect diet. And Yaski just make a short comment about this. She responded here fast. And she says, and this is translated from Spanish. That is terrible. That is terrible, the insects, because here we already saw that they are not healthy. To begin, their shells are porous and inside are full of toxins. Um, a huge variety of toxins that are there caused or generated by those pathogenic microorganisms, and they are not destroyed by cooking them. In addition, the fiber of the insects passes through, cutting the intestine inside, as it is only one cell thick, causing internal leakage and blood poisoning. In English, this quite serious condition is called leaky gut. Another thing is that it does not give the necessary requirements to sustain human life in terms of proteins and different types, because not all proteins are equal. That's why beans full of proteins are not enough to nourish the human body. So anyway, there was such a short comment that she responded to Robert. I wanted to share this. By the way, what I will read now, I'm going to publish on a website in transcripts, because I still want to include that there, what she said. Or maybe not. No, maybe not. Let me see. Oh, yes, because it's about the nuclear. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes, I will publish this on the website because it's on about the nuclear energy and all that. Okay. Now, the next agenda she was talking about, and this I will make it into another video separate. It's about electric cars and the agenda behind the electric cars. This was already mentioned by Aneka before, so you might know what this is about, but she here went a little bit deeper. And this, I'm going to make a short video on short separate video on the subject, electric cars. Okay. Let me see the chat. Maybe I can answer some questions. And then I will continue. Lois Naturel, why did you say that Swaruu died? Because she did in 2020. This is old information. I mean, you can go back to there was a video. If anybody can publish that, put a link about Svaru's that story, that big personal story. It was explained actually what happened. It was in two parts, that video. I think I shared it more or less 1 hour ago or so. 1 hour, 1 year ago or so. Swaruu 9 died, but don't confuse Swaruu 9 with Athena or with Yaski. They are different people. But she died in a kind of like transcended in a not exactly the same way as people here die on Earth, from what I understand. Anyway, go to that video and you can see the story. I don't remember the title of the video now, so I can't tell you. If anybody can put that link here in the chat, that would be appreciated. You know, that personal video about Svarus. Anyway, so let's continue now about the Federation, because there were some people who were saying that the Federation has experienced some big changes. There are some big changes going on within the levels of the Federation, and that they are like not in charge of the Earth anymore, or they have been factions. They're split up, etc. Zachary Wildway, which video was Swaruu 9? The personal one where it is explained their stories. Swaruu 9, who she is, and then Yaski. Like it was a big video about her personal life, and when it was explained how she died, how she grew up, and then the arrival of Yaski, the differences between Swaruu 9 and Yaski. That video, if anybody can find that, that'll be good. Okay. Not that relevant anyway. So the Federation. So I asked about that, and I said, were there some relevant huge changes within the Federation? Are they not in charge of the Earth anymore? Some people were even saying that Alcyone is in charge now. Well, this is what she says. I'll read this. This is translated from Spanish. The federation is very big and it does dominate this region. The problem is precisely that it is very large, and with that, there are communication problems between the parties even here. That lends itself to a lot of contradictions between those who talk about things concerning the federation. But as we have said before, the federation directly here, or Andromedans, Viera, low-level federation, that was said before, the federation directly here is not in control of what is going on. So the concept of change, that they are no longer in control, does apply, although it's not super new, does apply, and that is very alarming because it is not known who is in charge. Only speculations flow around, and that means they are not transparent. And that, coupled with the accelerated negativity on Earth, indicates that it is true that who is in charge, they are not the same as before. She's also saying that maybe those people who are saying this, that not the same dudes are in charge in the Federation, are maybe just realizing what was said months ago. But she says, I don't see anything new happening here, more of the same. This is going to be, what I said is going to be on the website now as a transcript. Now she says, Alcyone in charge? No, we wish Alcyone was in charge. Because remember that Taygetans and Alanim, as the leader of the Taygetans, the queen, she is representing now the Alcyone, which represents the whole Pleiades. So she says, no, we wish Alcyone was in charge. Alcyone being in charge would mean that Alanim would be in charge here, as she represents them in this sector. And that is not the case. Alanim is not in charge. So Alcyone cannot be in charge. I know that some groups controlled by the Jesuit Illuminati and three-letter agencies take Alcyone as a negative. So those will be the ones who would spread Alcyone is negative. For example, there are some information about that too. I didn't see it myself, but someone said that it exists, that Alcyone supposedly is negative. Well, it will be negative for them, for the Jesuit Illuminati and for three-letter agencies and whoever they are controlling and for their interests. But they are not negative. So that's that about the Federation. Remember that we had short conversations for now, just a few days ago this started. So for sure we're going to be deepening all these subjects, okay? This is just the beginning. Yaski, I feel she's quite pumped up to be sharing things. No, see, I don't have anything about the fake people. Highly doubted. You mean that the fake people suddenly become real? No, highly doubted, but I'm going to ask. But I don't think so. It was not mentioned to her by her, and I think she would have if it was, because we asked like what's new, what's like drastically happened that is new, and I think that would have been quite big news. Anyway, now about the nuclear bomb threats. Robert was asking about that too. He said something about the wars, all that's happening on Earth. She says this about this. Okay. She says this about this. It will not happen. First of all, because nuclear bombs do not work as people are told. And secondly, because there is no real conflict between countries, since they are all controlled by the same group. They just set them to fight each other, like a boxing coach who finances both boxers in a match. What they are interested in is mass control. So what they can do is to detonate conventional high explosives. Some make or form the famous mushroom cloud by faking the explosion itself. An example of this would be now this is for you guys who understand this. An example of this would be the GBU 72 fuel air bomb and its variants, and sell it to the public that it was nuclear. Now, she says, I speculate, but I insist that things are not as people are told, and they would never use something that would contaminate everything to an unusable level for the cabal if they have the option of faking the same event with the same results. However, high radiation favors some non-human organisms that live at low frequencies, since ionizing radiation lowers the frequency of a site, terraforming it for such creatures. That's just one sentence she threw in there. That will be interested to deepen that as well. So here, Robert is asking about Hiroshima, and she just mentioned some Hiroshima things here. Robert says, so Hiroshima was an energy weapon? Yaski says, there is speculation that it might not have been nuclear because the reconstruction of Hiroshima came immediately after the explosion, or almost immediately. And that is not feasible when compared to the effects and consequences of a contaminated site from the components they used. It is also known that the babies born with defects after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, in parentheses, they always forget about Nagasaki, are just a collection of pictures of post-war malformed babies from all over Japan that was used as propaganda against what happened in those two cities. However, there is no way to corroborate or confirm anything I just said, but it is very high possibility. Just as it is a very strong possibility that the explosions were by conventional warheads. The type of explosion and damage seen in the photos of Hiroshima and Nagasaki indicate an airborne explosion. That is, the bomb detonated at a certain height and not on contact with the surface. This is consistent with what they say about the detonation height of the little boy and fat man atomic bombs that were used. But it is also consistent with a fuel air type bomb like the GBU 72, which is conventional and also detonates at a certain height. That's for you who understand this topic. There are also firm rumors that such bombs, nuclear or not, were of German manufacture. And again, could it be so Hiroshima was an energy weapon? That is also very possible. Remember that the actual technological level of the cabal is not remotely similar to what they show to the population. Anyway, was just a conversation that I wanted to share with you, and because I don't think I want to make this into the separate video, but I will publish what she said on the website under transcript. Under transcripts. Anyway, now what I ask her about also is about saving food. Is it recommended to save food? Because it's been talked about for such a long time. I haven't saved almost anything because I don't know why. I'm just so lazy to do it. It's almost like I can't believe that I have to be saving food. Maybe I'm naive or something. But she said she recommends it. But more like not as something alarming you have to do and rush to the store like like the toilet paper was missing a few years ago, not like that, but just as a routine in your shopping. You're shopping or buy some extra, it's not going to go bad, something like that, in a relaxed way. You don't have to rush. You can rush if you want to as well, if it makes you happy. And what else? Let me see if you have any questions. Anyway, I don't have much more. As I told you, this was just short conversations we had just these last days. So I don't have all the answers to all these questions yet. Yes, okay. Remigiusz Krawczyk, the vegan videos I opening offer, please offer more information on nutrition. Actually, I am working on the next video about nutrition as well, also from the conversations from the past. Um, Robert published this on a Spanish channel. I will publish it in English, but it also will be enriched with some other stuff that he didn't publish in his channel. So yeah, it's gonna be additional information on nutrition and whatever new stuff Yaski has for us about the topic of veganism, because I collected some of the questions from you. Robert also collected his questions, and we have quite a lot of questions for her. So let's also not try to saturate her, of course. The last thing I want, I honestly didn't even, what I wasn't even sure if I was like, if I want to continue, because I don't want to be, you know, a burden to her or to anybody. This is a mutual thing, but still, um, it's draining for them. But no, she's very excited and she wants to do this, and um, yeah, I feel that she's really ready to offer more information. She wants to. Um, anyway, what else would you like to ask? Okay, something that if I'm quiet, it's because I'm reading questions and I don't have anything to say, any answers. No, the ocean tail, the solar flash. We talked about this so many times. It's nothing. It's nothing is going on there. Um, they're always talking about these solar flashes, and Yaski and Aleka explained so many times that it's nothing is going on there. Um, John Kennedy, I don't ask him about Kim Gogan, the ground commander, guardian of the earth. That term, it just doesn't sound right to me. Guardian of the earth. It's not how it works. There's just so many groups and factions. The Federation doesn't have any representatives of, on Earth, guardians of the earth. What does it mean? I don't think that it works that way. Um, Lois Naturel, it's Ismael Perez talking about the solar flash. Well, every now and then there's always someone talking about the solar flash. It's like the topic never dies. Um, I'm even like embarrassed to ask about this because she responded so many times about the solar flash. Unless there was something super new on the topic, and then again, I am pretty sure that she would mention it. If there was some huge change about the solar flash on the solar flash front, if there was something coming endangering the Earth, I'm sure she would say. Cindy Rodriguez, how is Aneka and the rest? They are okay. They're okay. We don't have much information about like the operations they are doing, but they are doing things behind the scenes as always. Hashmali is also involved in some operations here and there. Aneka is, also helping wherever she can, and I know she's missing us, and we're missing her as well. So that's the message to her if she can see us. Um, let's see. Ingeniería Estelar, so the situation on the Earth hasn't changed, right? We haven't talked about any specific changes. No. But for sure, there's maybe something. We just didn't have the time yet to go into it. Will we have contact with Athena again? Probably, but for now, it's just Yaski. Maybe later. For now, it's Yaski. Nothing new really on papayas that I could talk about here. Everything the same. Remember, this is fresh, okay? So there's a lot that we haven't discussed yet. Anyway, this is more or less what this is about. So again, to reinstate, they never left. They never left the orbit. They continue to be here. Yaski is in touch and will be sharing some information. I'll also continue to share what I had before, because that also needs to be shared. For example, I have this short video on autism that I will publish very soon. I'm thinking where to publish it, because it mentions some papayas here and there. Or I know, okay, this is what I will do. I will publish it without the papayas being mentioned for the YouTube. This way I don't have to put it on Odyssey, just on YouTube. And then on a website, there's going to be a full transcript without anything being cut out. So you can read it a bit later. Thank you very much. I know this is the beginning of your day, so go on and enjoy your day if you are on the east side of the world. And then in Australia, it's probably the end of your day. So good night. Good night there to everybody. In the Aussie part of the world, thank you everybody in the chat. I'm going to keep informing you as we continue. And okay, if there's anything important, sorry I didn't answer all your questions, but I don't have all the answers yet. This is just still fresh. Thank you everybody. Love to all. Lots of hugs to everybody. And until the next video, of course. Bye. Bye, everybody, people. Everybody there. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your night. Bye, Star Child. Bye to Poland. Bye.